The frozen fight. In the heart of a bustling city, a woman named Zara Matthews was desperate for a new place to call home. After months of searching, she finally found a modest apartment in a well-kept building. The rent was affordable and the location was ideal, or so she thought. Zara arrived at the apartment complex with excitement, her hopes high. She was ready to start a new chapter in her life, leaving behind a series of tough breaks and a neighborhood that never felt like home. The landlord, a man named Charles Wilkins, greeted her with a stiff handshake, but his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. He seemed friendly enough, but something about him felt off. After a quick tour, Zara filled out the necessary paperwork and handed over her deposit. Charles seemed satisfied, but as Zara turned to leave, he paused. "I just want to make sure you're aware of something," he said, his voice oddly strained. "This building. We have a specific type of tenant we prefer. People who fit into the community, you know?" Zara paused, taken aback. "What do you mean by that?" He smiled, but it was a cold, uncomfortable smile. "Let's just say we prefer people who aren't too different." Zara's heart skipped a beat, but she smiled politely, unwilling to make a scene. She thought maybe he was just old-fashioned or misunderstanding something. But when she returned the next day to sign the lease, it became clear that his words weren't a misunderstanding. They were a thinly veiled warning. "Actually," Charles said, looking her over with an appraising eye, "we've decided to go in a different direction. We have a few concerns after reviewing your application." Zara's stomach churned. "Are you saying I'm being rejected?" "That's correct," he replied, folding his arms. "I'm afraid this building just isn't the right fit for you." Zara's mind raced. She could feel the weight of the injustice hanging in the air. But she wasn't about to let this man dictate her future. "No, Mr. Wilkins," Zara said, her voice steady but firm. "I'm not leaving. Not without a fight." Charles was taken aback by her calm, resolute demeanor. He tried to dismiss her, but Zara wasn't having it. She stood her ground, making a scene in the lobby of the apartment building. She called her lawyer, who immediately began drafting legal paperwork. Zara also posted a video on social media, detailing her experience and demanding justice. As the video went viral, something extraordinary happened. People from all walks of life, from all races, backgrounds, and cultures rallied behind Zara. It wasn't just about one woman being rejected by a racist landlord. It was about the idea that no one should be judged based on their skin color, background, or appearance. As the building's tenants and neighbors gathered outside in protest, an unexpected wave of support flooded in from the community. But what truly stunned everyone was that, during the protest, time seemed to freeze for a moment. It wasn't a physical freeze, but a psychological one. For a brief period, every person in the crowd, black, white, Latino, Asian, stood still, as if frozen in time. The collective realization of the injustice they had witnessed hit them all at once. In that moment, Zara's strength and defiance broke the icy barrier of silence that had surrounded racism and inequality for too long. The frozen crowd represented the halt of complacency, the unwillingness to let prejudice go unchecked. A few days later, after the media attention and public outcry grew too loud for Charles Wilkins to ignore, Zara was offered the apartment once more, but it wasn't just an offer. The landlord was forced into a public apology. Legal action was taken, and the landlord was fined for discriminatory practices. Zara didn't just win the battle for herself. She sparked a movement that made it harder for others to get away with the same kind of discrimination. The frozen moment was a metaphor for a larger shift in the public consciousness. People had witnessed a fight for justice, and they couldn't unsee it. The world had paused to witness her resilience, and from that moment on, Zara knew her fight wasn't just hers. It was the fight for equality, for fairness, for everyone. And as the years passed, Zara became a leader in the fight for tenant rights, a symbol of courage in the face of injustice. People remembered the frozen moment when a community stood still and collectively decided they wouldn't let prejudice define them anymore.